Alright, we are once again back with the Great Ace Attorney. I'm Jake Light, Gaming Lawyer at Service. And last episode, I cheated. Sorry, I've cheated, but you know, this is entertainment. We're doing a show. We have to move on. Alright, we don't have time to just think about things. Anyways, let's continue. Alright, so you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windyback, was wielding a gun. Is that correct?
That's it, Gov. You got the picture. Yes, Nash. Yes, no question.
And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windyback was not holding a firearm of any description.
You are Gordon Bennett. That's it, right?
There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windyback's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand.
Yeah, that mold dealer used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun. Kind of thing.
Hold it. Stay exactly where you are, right there.
Eh?
If the crime had taken place as you've so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out.
Goodness, are you sure, counsel?
You intrigue me, my learned friend. Let's see some evidence to show your claim. Where is the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Crime scene photographic again? According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot.
Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, also we've been led to believe.
Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, if I could ask the court to study the photograph of the victim's body again, you can clearly see that Mr. Windyback was in fact shot from behind. So, as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
But it's God's honest truth. It is, Nash. It is. That we was shot at night. The shopkeeper had a gun in his hand. We saw it with our own bleeding eyes.
Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windyback holding the gun.
Something like that might slipped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun, which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person.
Nash, no.
Order! 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 Witnesses, explain yourselves at once.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't supposed to,
It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you.
Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies?
Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, we, Carry on, Nash, carry on. If we blow now, you know what that told us.
He? What are you talking about? Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There's no other option available to you.
Bruv, come on, the game's up. But I'll get the guys.
In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide, truth will come out.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place.
Well, do we have to?
On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Alright, another batch of testimony.
Alright, so we just got inside the cave and Eve inside really when the geezer showed his mouth. Give me that guy, battle, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we had it. For an oak eater, the bloke was strong as an oak. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled my gun on him and then legged it through the door into the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. It's all what happened, I swear.
Well, somehow there's all jumbled up and conflicting and contradicting. So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop.
Well, yes, sorry.
Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. It changes matters considerably.
But honest, Governor, this time we ain't got nothing much to hide.
Very well, counsel for the defense. You may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This is it. This moment I've been waiting for. Kuchungu. Encounter with the victim. Alright. Give me that gun. He bellowed and then he flew at us like we was possessed authority we had. Alright. You mentioned that Mr. Windybank shouted those words in your previous testimony too. However, you claim that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door.
Oh, yeah, did we?
But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he?
Well, yeah.
Was the victim Mr. Windybank wielding a gun at the time?
Was he ever? Blimey lummy, a great ugly barrier pointed straight at me frontispiece.
So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windybank with a gun at that time, is that right?
It is, Gov, it is! Small! And all of a sudden he came at us, he did! It was bedlam, I didn't know what was going for me.
You were clearly going for each other.
Like Nash say, we thought we had,
The bloke was strong as an oak. He chucked me over the counter. Yes, I noted that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too.
Well, yeah, 'cause we did. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull and whatnot. That got tangled in some marionette. What knocked over a picture frame? What knocked them scales on the floor?
So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter.
Well, Big Brother here went flying over the counter like a gunshot. I can't tell ya. Daniel gives opinion. He did, Nash. He did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a blooming pancake in seconds.
At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via a secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There is a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim.
That's right.
That's right. When the brothers fled the scene and back on the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they?
Poor Mr. Windybank. He did everything he could to protect his shop. I pulled me gun on him and then he legged through that door in the back room.
Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windybank?
No. I was just, looking out for me. But, well, he was being flattened, don't forget.
By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes. And then, the man fled in the storm when you pointed your gun at him, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. He shot me away and ran off through that door and shut himself in, yeah.
There's something about that last remark, something that doesn't quite ring true.
I wonder why Mr. Windybank ran away into the storeroom.
What?
Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun.
Ah, yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windybank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windybank's hands again?
I have no idea. But that is strange, isn't it?
This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it.
Look, the point is, me and my brother here. That's right, Nash. That's right. Me and my brother here.
Nothing to do with killing. Oh, that's all what happened, I swear. You say you had nothing to do with it?
Nothing at all. Nothing, Golf. Nothing. The old gets away and shot himself in the back room there. Like it was from the inside. We know it was, cause he's trying to open it. It's a decent door, that one. Go ahead, strong. Won't budge an inch.
So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could have possibly shot the victim, accused, Miss Gina Lestrade.
It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, counsel?
I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could possibly have shot Mr. Windybank? There could be. There could have been. Mr. and Mrs. Skulkin.
What? What's that look for?
From the moment you admitted that you encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely.
It did.
What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Windybank. It is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what are the possible answers to the question of who shot the man could there be?
Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect of 2 conundrums.
2? My lord, twice as many chances to be right, maybe.
Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
Understood, my lord.
Are you alright, Bruno?
Not entirely sure. There's one thing I'm sure about. I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened. It would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. Well, I have a very simple belief that I'll have to save first. Alright, I'll have to save first because we only have 1 life left. It's not gonna be good. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun. Over here. To fire a gun over here. The defense believes the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from that location indicated, where was the victim at the time? Over here. I'm right. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Winneback died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired?
So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
Well, according to the Skulking brothers' earlier testimony,
I pulled my gun on him and then he legged it through that door into the back room.
if Mr. Winneback ran away through that door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time. Ah! It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life. That his brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom.
Nah, yeah. Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutors said at the start of the trial?
Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself.
Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety.
Ah, of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body on an upward trajectory.
So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windybank.
I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? But I have a theory, but you know, okay, we know Suzuki doesn't seem to know. What if someone else, what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so?
Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense assertion is that the victim was shot from the outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside? Gina. Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room. For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tie the noose around her neck. I am inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel. It's very obvious. Yes, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please. Of course, Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? It does? Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I knew I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windybank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Windybank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom.
Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv.
If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windybank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. What we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment?
I see where you're going with this.
Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windybank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life.
But we ain't the one who's died. We ain't gonna believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot no one.
That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would, because before my own eyes you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There is only one logical conclusion. Mr. and Mrs. Skulkin, your brothers have every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windybank's murder.
Where does this leave us?
You mean to say it wasn't a pickpocket?
We shot the brothers, but
I should have known.
It was those three brothers. Lucas stands for.
It was amazing, Bruno. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now.
I know, first time ever, and probably the last.
Well, I think you've done it. Surely they have to give a verdict of not.
An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing.
You find the situation amusing, Lord Von Zix. I myself find the defense argument most persuasive.
I dare say such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than excusable pettifoggery here. What? Yeah, what? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly, credibly cannot and will not stand. Because you see, it contains a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing?
I say, Lord 16, might be an idea to explain his ballad conjuring trick or whatever it is the troops on the ground, hmm?
The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets.
By George, count bullets!
Oh dear. You noticed then?
Huh? What's everyone talking about? Counsel.
Yes, sir?
Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime.
Two bullets.
Correct. The first at which hit the victim in the back, ending his life, and the second at which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene.
Indeed. The defense presented a picture of showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appeared to have passed through his body to strike the calendar.
Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are two firearms involved in this incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windybank, and the skulking brother's revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun.
Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each.
Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these two brothers shot Mr. Sholmes right before your eyes.
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness. I think you'll find...
No, the single bullet that was fired from the brother's gun hit Mr. Sholmes, it means...
Winterback not shot by the same gun. Stop. Only one bullet. Stop.
Exactly. Yes, this Nipponian street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Ugh.
Whack! Order! Order! Order!
Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery.
Lord Van Ziggs!
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gillerstrad, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can, regrettably, no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print which depicts her threatening the victim with a murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence that the prosecution wishes to present. I would object that evidence. It's not relevant to the case. That disc.
I'll be taking in whatever it is of Mick Gilda's down to the down to the yard. Thank you very much. No, don't give it to him. It's mine. There's mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to the McGilda has to be taken in as evidence now. Yes, that music box disc. McGilda's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windybank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence.
Good gracious!
Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no deaths to which this girl would stoop. If pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that fact at its peril. I
see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into the evidence council as a grim testament.
What's that?
Lord Van Jakes,
Inspector Gregson, what? Oh, that was him shouting. Yes, Inspector.
We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service on them. I think it was agreed that this wouldn't be used as evidence.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he's said anything to Van Zix at all. I'm unaware of any such meeting.
But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent.
Inspector, I am the prosecutor. I alone determine what to present, how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this evidence, my lord.
Indeed, bailiff.
The prosecution has established the accused's motives, opportunity, and baseness of character. Right, we're gonna what I feel like it's gonna be another summations examination. Right, wait. Correct. Or rather mistakenly defended. What? Question I have no answer to myself. Right, I want to do this. Can I spray stuff?
Oh, Bruno, look! This is blood!
Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
It's time to shine again. My time to shine again.
Oh no. Sorry. Oh. Yeah, apparently time is up. Sorry about it. We saw it now. Anyways. We have to do this next time. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We're gonna find out whose blood this is. Alright? Alright. It's gonna be good. Alright? Gonna finish this no matter what. Time to do it. Right, take care. Stay hopeful, but be critical, alright? Bye-bye.